Hello all, we are doing lesson 5, the hyperbola. The lesson is on the website and also on Canvas, so please make sure you get the lesson before you start watching my videos. Otherwise it'll be very confusing writing all the material, and especially when we're getting into graphing. If you don't have the graph, it'll confuse you and you'll just like get more puzzled, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, I'm going to get started with the equations. There are two equations of your hyperbola. One is for the horizontal hyperbola and the other one is for the vertical hyperbola. First of all, let me read out the first equation. It's x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. So here, x squared is first. In the other equation, you see y squared over a squared minus x squared over b squared equals 1. Y squared is first. So basically, this is what determines whether my hyperbola is going to be horizontal or vertical. If x squared is first, it's horizontal. If y squared is first, it's vertical. So copy that into your notes. Do not look for the larger number. You're not looking for a and b, which we did in our previous ellipses, yes, but not in the hyperbolas. In hyperbolas, you look if your x squared is first, it is a horizontal. If your y squared is first, it's a vertical, right? So please copy that down. Okay, so now let's look at a horizontal hyperbola. So again, your a is the distance from the vertex to center, c is the distance from this focus to center. Okay, I already marked it on my picture. And if it's a horizontal hyperbola, this is your transverse axis. The transverse axis will have your focus, your vertex, and your what? Center. Okay, these are your hyperbolas. These are your two asymptotes. Your hyperbolas will always have two asymptotes. One will have a negative slope, as you can see. This one will have what? A negative slope, because the graph is going down, the line's going down, and this will have a positive slope. I'm not going to make you memorize the equations at the bottom of the asymptotes. Rather, you'll be able to come up with those once you look at those pictures, once you start sketching. So I'm not going to even talk about these. You'll see when we talk about it, right? Anyways, the other formula that you need to know is c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Again, pay attention to your plus sign. These are few things that you need to know about a hyperbola before we start sketching them. So let's turn the page, and if you have any questions, again, put the star next to them so that you can email me, send me a picture of it, whatever makes you comfortable. So I'm going to get started with the next page. Okay, I'm going to read the question and then I'm going to do it with you. So here it says, sketch the hyperbola whose equation is 4x squared minus y squared equals 16, and identify the vertex, the focus, and the equation of the asymptote. So there are three things you have to do plus 4 to sketch it. How do we start sketching it? First of all, you need to make sure the equation's in standard form. This is your equation. Is it in standard form? Nope. So what do? Divide by 16 all across, and you get this, right? So now you need your a and b to, first of all, let's determine whether it's a horizontal or a vertical. Two papers underneath, sorry. Whether it's a horizontal or a vertical hyperbola. What's first? Your x squared is first, so it is horizontal. So let's write that down, horizontal. Right? Now, this is your a square. So what's a square? 4. So what will your a be? Square root of 4 is 2. Very good. B square. First, I just didn't do it. I tried copying some of it so that my videos could be shorter. B square is 16, so that gives me b equals 4. Okay, so you're going to start by plotting your a's and b's. We already know it's a horizontal, so we're going to start at the center. So let's go to the graph. At the center, we're going to go out 2, right? Left and right 2, because my a is 2. And then I'm going to go up how much? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot there. And what you do is you build a rectangle around it so that you get your nice hyperbolas. That's what you're going to sketch. So let's make notes here. 1, find your A and B, how to sketch it, right? Then 2, what do we do? Make a rectangle using A and B. Once you get that, your asymptotes, you can again, I told you, you can use these formulas, they're right here. You can use these equations, like, to determine them. I'm not even going to go into it because you know what, you might remember them for the test for now. But once you have a rectangle, remember your asymptotes will go through the center, whatever your center is, and this is it. So basically, do you agree? Going back to your rise over run. So your equation of asymptote would be what? This has a positive slope. Do you agree? So it'll be what? Y equals, what's my rise? 4 over 2 x. So it'll be plus and minus 4 over 2x. The other equation would be going down. I'm trying to hold my phone from the other hand, and that's why I'm trying to do the best. This has a negative slope. Remember that. And that's the reason why it's plus and minus. Check here also. Is it up 4 over 2? 4 over 2, which will simplify to what? Y equals plus and minus 2x. So that's your equation of your asymptote. You could just get it from there itself, right? These are your vertices because it is a horizontal hyperbola. Again, going back to here, why is it horizontal? Because x squared was first, right? So now with the free hand, as close you can get to your asymptotes, get them. And this is how you sketch your hyperbola. There are 2 parts to it. That's your first one, and this is, I'm trying to do my very best, given I'm working with one hand, my phone's in my other hand. Okay, so this is how you sketch it. That's basically it. You plotted your A and B, that's what you said, find A and B, then make a rectangle using A and B, then what? Sketch your asymptotes. And then sketch your parabola. Sorry, not parabola, hyperbola. I know. Okay, so now what do we need to mark on this? This is your vertex. This is going to be V1, V2. So I can write down my coordinates of my vertices. What are those? Vertices are, what is it? -2, 0, and 2, 0. Yes, you can write it, or you can write it as plus and minus 2, 0. Either or is acceptable, right? Now, what else? So I did the equations of the asymptotes, my vertices. I'm left with my foci. What was the formula that I gave it to you? It's c squared equals a squared plus b squared. Okay, so your a squared is what? 4 plus 16. Simplified, you get c equals square root of 20. Square root of 20 is something like 4.45, I think, which is what? Between what 2 numbers? Between 4 and 5, right? This is between 4 and 5. So where would it be? So from the center, go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's here. So this is your focus 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Focus 2. So those are your focus 1 and focus 2. Okay, and now the last thing that we are left with is what? Write down the coordinates of your focus. So either you can choose to write it plus and minus rad 20. You do not have to simplify them. If you choose to write 2 rad 5, I am fine with it, but it's okay. You can leave it, or -20, negative rad 20, comma 0, and positive 20, comma 0. Either or are correct. So that was the first example that we did. Pause the video and try to do the second example, and then we'll go over it. Okay, so I think you tried the second one. Let's do this. here the equation's already given to you in standard form, and you are again to identify the same things, the vertices, the foci, and the equations of the asymptotes. So now first thing to determine is whether it's a horizontal or a vertical. You look at what is first. Y squared is first, so it is a vertical, right? So then your a square is what? It's a first number, 9. So a will be what? 3. B square is, what's b square? 49. So b is equal to square root of 49 is 7, right? Let's start sketching it. You can finish all the work and then sketch. I like to do both so that you see where these numbers go and we're not missing out on anything, right? So now remember, your A, your transverse axis is your vertical axis, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, now once you have these points, your A's and B's marked up, build a rectangle around it. This one's going to be a little hard for me because my paper is moving, right? Why do you want to build a rectangle? So that it gives you your asymptotes. I would rather build a rectangle and figure out my asymptotes, right? Your asymptotes are going to pass through the center and the corner of your rectangle. So with your free hand, I'm just going to go this. And this is a line going up, so it'll have what? A positive slope, right? So this is positive, and I'm just going to slide the paper a little. And this would be what? Line going down, negative slope. So this is negative. You don't have to mark it, but these are few things that you can keep in mind while doing questions so that you don't get them wrong, right? These equations are what? Y equals, right? Y equals mx plus b. They're passing through the center, so your y-intercept is 0. What's your slope? Rise over run. So what's your rise? Rise is your 3, and your run is 7. So it'll be plus and minus 3 over 7 x. Right? Plus 0, you don't have to write. So you already got the equation of your asymptotes. So let's write that down, your asymptotes equation. Just write by counting, rise over run, right? Counting your boxes, and you got that. And now these are your vertices, right? So your hyperbola is gonna go what? It's gonna be like really flat, right? Passing through these points and going closer to your lights. And I'm gonna have the other half of it here, right? And I'll label this. This is vertex 1, vertex 2. Okay, now what am I left with? Let's write down the coordinates of my vertices. My vertices are, what is it? It's gonna be 0, comma, plus and minus 3. Do not forget, you're on a y-axis, so your x-coordinate is 0, right? Now you want to find the focus coordinates. So the formula that helps me find the focus is this, where my a square is 9 and my b square is 49, and you get c equals square root of 58, right? Which is between what? Two numbers, 7 and 8, right? So 7 and 8. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So your focus is somewhere here, focus 1, right? Remember in parabolas also, when we were doing the parabolas, we always said the parabola isn't like one part of hyperbola like looking like a parabola. You're always hugging the focus. So think about it. So your focus is going to be further away from the center than the vertex. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, sorry. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I said 7 and 8. It's a little out here. You have to go outside the graph here. So this is it. So the last thing to write is the coordinates. So it's going to be 0, comma, plus and minus rad 58. So you got all that, and that's basically it. So now I would want you to actually go and work on these 4 practice problems. There are 4 practice problems, I know. I'm trying to like at least try to do 3 out of 4, if not all 4. Work on those and I will post the answer keys for those, okay? And I'll see you in our next video. Thank you.